Dobry den. That's about one of the 5 words I know in Russia, and you don't want to know about the others. Good afternoon. So very quickly about me for those who didn't check the website. So I'm Olivier Denoo. I'm Belgian. That's why you have this wonderful monument aside my avatar there. I'm running a consultancy company, and above all, I'm the vice president of the French ISTQB board, the CFTL. And for the ISTQB, I'm their governance officer, which is the kind of regulation judge, whatever you can call. And I'm also involved in other kind of schemes, all in software quality. Okay, but that's not important. That's just about me. What is important is the presentation. And the title is Why We Should Care About Leftovers. I wanted to make this presentation because I'm pretty much into fooding. I cannot hide it very, you see. And leftovers, this is what is left out when you cooked a nice meal for your family or for your friends, whatever. And, well, I suppose that we have the same sort of education. My mother always told me not to, spoil good food and waste good food. So that's what we're going to talk about. No, seriously, it's not MasterChef, it's a testing event, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about other kind of leftovers, our testing or quality leftovers. And this is the name of this presentation, and this is the content of this presentation. Originally, this presentation is made to be in one shot, till I die on stage, okay? Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's a coffee break in the middle, so I will die twice just for you today, okay? So on the menu, Back to the Future, I will show you a little bit what our future will look like. I have a crystal ball, you'll see. And then we'll go for the leftovers, because you still want to know what leftovers are and what do I mean, and challenges of new economy and hopeful conclusions. This will be after the coffee break. Back to the Future. This is what is sold to us in the West, and I suppose that you get about the same. This is the brand new kind of connected everything, okay? And my electricity company is already selling me. So you see kind of healthy and wealthy couple. They come and the garage door identifies them. The house knows they're at home. And the food is going to be processed. Oh, yeah, oven is preheating. Ain't it fabulous? Watch this one, it will come back. Okay. So, on the fridge. And by the way, it communicates. Oh, this is what I need. I think that you need it too. I have 2 girls at home. This is absolutely what I need. The room is occupied. So nobody disturbs, especially for the girls. Not for me, okay? So you see, everyone's coming. They detect light is on. They leave, light off. The fridge is so clever, it tells you that you're running out of eggs. Right now. After the breakfast. Wake up, lazy boy. Yes, that's the kind of wake-up call I like. But it's not enough, he's really lazy, you'll see that. So the stereo is, Metallica, the brand new one. Wake up! Okay, finally. So here comes to the breakfast. You see that this is healthy couple, eh? That's a Jaguar, by the way, okay? So, running out of gas. Light up the engine, but of course you have the exhaust fumes. So it's toxic, so the garage door opens because there's a sensor there as well. Ain't it fabulous? If you paid attention to what I said, this is the most important one. Fridge is open, come back, he's 7 and he's got a smartphone already, okay? Welcome to the future. Okay, I can keep on with the video like that. It's about 7 minutes, but it gets boring. Okay, and it's already boring because, well, otherwise I wouldn't have commented. It's brilliant, and it's not the future. It's already there because it's already sold by my electricity company. Okay, well, you need to have a lot of money because it's sold as a service as usual, but never mind. What have you seen? Let's make an exercise here with the picture. Who in this audience have seen the girl? At least there's one honest guy. Okay, everyone has seen the girl. Who's seen the beer? Belarus, Belarus. You've seen the beer. Ain't it fabulous? Who's seen the lion? Yes, a couple of you, okay? That is exactly the same with this house. Everything is fabulous if you just look at the bright side of life. But suddenly, you discover that behind all these sensors, all the stuff, there are sensors, but there are pieces of software programmed everywhere. And we are testers, are we? And what is it in the software? Bugs, ladies and gentlemen. The lion is there hiding, okay? What could go wrong with such a house? I'm sorry? Okay, so what I want to talk about today with you guys is what are our leftovers. And our leftovers, this is kind of French bread. That's a very good way to have all bread together with eggs, and you get something that is fine. This is all the kind of testing that we forget to do, just because we haven't got time, just because they are not considered important, just because they are not in the planning, just because. And if you look at this ISO 9126, if you're old-fashioned, or the 25010, if you're trendy, you see that there are loads of characteristics that we do not often test. Am I right? Who tests these kind of characteristics that are enlightened here? Okay, not so many, right? Why are they important? Why are these leftovers not to be wasted? Because our world is changing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what I want to show you. First of all, I'm not sure that everyone realized that, but we changed the way IT was done. 20, 30 years ago, I'm old enough to speak about that. 20, 30 years ago, IT was made by ITers, for ITers, mainly. Today, IT is still made by ITers, but it's for everyone. Not everyone is in this room, because in this room, we are about the 5% of the population that is gifted. We are techies. And there are even techies in the room, probably. But all of us can use a mailbox, can send a mail, can sort mails, and these kind of things. But the people there, passing by the street, mostly don't. There's a recent report from the OECD, so quite good economics country, I must say. And 30% as a result that had been run in different countries, members of the OECD, and that's about 5,000 people per country in average. So that's kind of representative sample, isn't it? And they found that 30% of the population that was, questioned didn't know how to use a computer properly or in an advanced way. And we are developing the fantastic connected house for these guys, because these are the people we want to sell to. We have a car, there's software in the car. We have a fridge, there will be software in the fridge. We are doing shopping online, this is software, right? So we have software everywhere, and this software is not targeting ITers anymore, but it's targeting everyone. My grandma. The only window my grandma knew about was the one she was, cleaning every week. But we have a different meaning for Windows, and we have a different meaning for Apple, right? So mass market is difficult because you have different levels of education. Not education as such, but education towards IT, education towards technology. And we, ladies and gentlemen, are developing for these people who don't know nothing about what we do. And guess what? They don't even want to know, because they just want to use. These are users. And they don't care about what sort of Python, Java, whatever you put behind. They use their own device with different form factors. It can be a smartphone, it can be a tablet, it can be a phablet, it can be whatever weird word you want to use. But they want to use theirs because they are convinced that this is the best in the world, or the best they can afford. Okay. So we have to think about that, because the total paradigm changed. Let's come to artificial, well, it's supposed to be intelligence, but for some reason it just shortened a little bit the title, so, well, didn't pay much. This is how people in the 60s, in the US, most probably, as you look at the cars, imaging the driverless cars. And you see the dotted lines there that are possibly giving some sort of indication on how the car should be driven. And you see that happy family there playing Scrabble or whatever it is. I don't care. Okay? That's an artist's vision. But today, we all know that this is already some sort of reality. Because we have Google, and we have Tesla, and we have other big car companies that are just trying to do these driverless cars with more or less success, and we'll come to that later. Okay? Oh, let's talk about Tesla, for instance. This is the first accident record with driverless cars. Okay, you heard about that? Very sad story. The guy was probably playing Tetris on his smartphone while the car was driving. And for some reason, and if you go into the techie stuff, they will say there was probably one sensor missing or one sensor that didn't work fine, blah, 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 blah. LiDAR, radar, sonar, whatever DAR you want. It's not important. You might argue, and this is not the kind of argument I would like to have in this room, you might argue that this is one too many and this is terrible, or you might argue that this is only one out of millions and millions kilometers driven by these kind of cars. It's not really important. It is just that somewhere this sensor didn't see the truck crossing the road. Because of the atmospheric condition, because the flank of the truck was wide, because the guy was supposed to be attentive, whatever, because. But it happened. Okay? And, well, that's the result. And by the way, we can ask different sort of questions about this. Let me ask you just one single question. And before, I will use a small example to illustrate. Question is, will our cars, our driverless cars in the future, be programmed to kill us, eventually? Ain't it funny? I'll come to the example. Let you think, and by the time you think, I'm going to distract you with an example. You've all been to a restaurant, right? And in a restaurant you have, normally on the table, usually you have salt and pepper, right? And when these pots are transparent, it's so easy, yeah? Salt is white, pepper is dark brown or whatever. Easy. What if they're not transparent? What if you have two metallic stuff? Oh, you have one with 3 holes and one with 5 holes. Well, there are variations, but let's just take the example, okay? Which one do you think is the salt? 5 holes. Okay, 5 holes. Who in the audience think that 5 holes is the salt? Oh, why? Not now. Why do you think it's 5 holes? Because usually we put more salt on our food than pepper. This is the usual answer. I suppose that I will not be cheating here, okay? I would say, and I come back to you, yes, we should test it. And why should we test it? Because it doesn't matter. You know what matters? What matters is how many holes do you think the waiter who just fit it in think it was supposed to be? Where did he put the salt? This is what matters. So this is what the developers think. That doesn't matter in this case. Now back to my example. Would the car kill us? Let's say that there are 2 things at work. You have this wonderful set of sensors, high-tech, programming, and let's say that this is flawless. 0 bug. Okay? There is still one thing that is running against you, which is physics. If you have a 1.5 ton car driving 50 kilometers an hour on the road and somebody crosses immediately. Yeah, you might say, yes, you have this radar detecting. Yeah, but there are walls everywhere, and suddenly, you know, you have this little child or a dog or whatever, who cares, crossing. Physics says you can't stop, you can't brake soon enough. Okay, ignore physics. No, that's not possible. We're in the real world, it's not virtual here. I cannot ignore physics. So what would the programmer think to do in this case? You might drive aside. Maybe there is a safe side, but maybe not, because the radar detected that there was a car coming on the other way. So, front collision with the other car, kill the children, send you to the wall. What is the option? What do you think will be in? Hey, you are the programmers, you are the testers. You will have to know. This one is about sensors as well. I will go quite quickly on this one, and I don't want to enter loads of physics, because I'm just unable to do it. No, not anymore. Okay, on planes, you have these little devices that are just there with the arrows. I'm not very well positioned to show you, but I suppose that you see the arrows. These are Pitot tube. Who knows about Pitot tubes? Nobody had physics courses? Pitot tube is a probe like this, and you have a hole. It's very simple. It is just working on Bernoulli equation, who links speed and pressure. Okay, and the equation is even there if you want to check. It's Bernoulli, okay, French. Ta-da! Okay, and the aim of the game is the faster the airspeed, the lower the pressure. So it gives plane an indication on how fast they fly. As simple as that. Okay, there are different Pitot tubes on the plane. And what if one Pitot tube is saying you have that sort of speed, the other one is saying that sort of speed, and from that you infer the altitude? It's a complete mess, especially when you have an autopilot and when you have real pilots at work. Okay? And this is what was happening, because one of these Pitot tubes was, well, seemed to be the best place for a wasp to nest at a certain moment in time. So one Pitot tube was just, clogged with the wasp. And the information given by one sensor was not fine and was not coherent with the other one. And the pilot had to decide. And at a certain moment in time, at least in 2 occasions, they took the wrong decision. They put the plane even more, and then there was no lift anymore. And they crashed. Just because they misinterpreted or they did not follow the drill. This is human error in some cases. This is sensor error in some other cases. It doesn't matter. In the first case, that was Bergen Air case, 1996, 189 people died crashing inside a mountain. And in 2011, 228 died in the sea while flying from Rio to Paris. Just because of that. GPS, another artificial intelligence. We have GPS everywhere now today. We cannot live without GPS or smartphones, right? In 2012, Apple decided to implement its own mapping system. Like Google Map, but it was Apple something, Apple Maps. And the problem was that for some reason, they just misplaced a city. Okay, a bug can happen, but it was in the middle of Australia, in the middle of the bush. 46 degrees outside, about 24 hours without water supply. They had to send the emergency rescue team to, save people's life in there. Just because that GPS stuff was not okay. And you know what? Big disgrace, Apple used Google Maps later. That's their biggest competitor maybe, with Samsung. We'll come to Samsung later, if you stay with me. So each and every piece of software that we're designing is not flawless, you know that already, but it has consequence on direct life, on direct people living, Another change in our society is I hope, well, you can probably read the title, it's now or never. And I heard in Paul's intervention this morning that this is probably not the best situation ever, and I do fully agree with him, but I think, opposite to him, that we are some sort of way responsible. It's not only the business who decides to go faster, we are responsible of saying yes to the business. I know that it's very difficult to say no, and in some cultures it's not possible, but I'm sorry, we some sort of tuned the users, the end users and the business who are representing them one way or the other, to get things fast and faster, and sometimes dumb and dumber. And for that, and I will go quite fast on this one. We developed a lot of methods. Shifting right, shifting left, shifting wherever you want, I don't mind. But the aim of the game is to deliver faster. And the gimmick or the marketing is we go to the value faster. This is the agile motto at the moment, okay? I don't want to create a big discussion between agile and the other kind of methods. I don't care, I don't mind. I can work with any of them. But the problem is that we go fast and faster. And because we go fast and faster, we skip testing most of the times, don't we? Oh, by the way, we even introduced the concept of non-important testing, because we have disposable apps. On each and every of our smartphones, we have about 70 applications average. And we just used 15 of them regularly. Loads of crabs. Websites are changing every day. Couple of times a day. This is usual. That's putting in production every day. Yeah, but it's not important because, you know, these are just, you know, presentation layer and so on. I don't want to hear about the technique. There are links, there are information, there's absolutely everything in there. So this is put in production. You know George Clooney? You know which coffee brand he is representing? Okay, good. This coffee brand, I'm a fan of this coffee brand. It saved my life. I'll tell you the story if I still have 5 minutes in the end of the show. Well, it didn't really save my life, but it made me happy. And they sent me advertisement. And on one of those, okay, good. On one of those advertisements, there was a big spelling mistake, but not the kind of small mistake that you can, you know, pretend not seeing it. It was 70, you know, the big stuff. I went to the office, I made a copy of that. I went to the office and said to my guy, look, this is in production today. And they connected to the site and it was changed. The mistake was gone in about an hour. So within an hour, they changed the website online directly. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is putting in production fast and faster. The now challenge. Let's say that you want to buy something. What you usually do with e-commerce is you order something, that's the old way, it takes ages, and you get the postman delivering it home. But it takes ages, it's too slow. So what you think is, I'd better go to the shopping mall next door, and by the way, I would socialize a little bit and see other things, so let's go to the next door. So, next step is, let's go faster, or let's do something about it. They offer you some kind of, you would probably like this, or I will make you a 10% rebate. Yeah, but these shops in the shopping mall can do the same. So they can't beat them on that one. So they stop. Well, they keep on doing it, but additionally. And then they have to offer something else, which is even faster. So they use technique. Oh, I have a wonderful drone dropping the package. Yeah, okay, but that's not okay, compatible with the planes and so on and so forth. So that's dangerous, maybe for kind of remote, you know, forgotten areas, but not for everyone. Okay, so that's not the solution. Let's go to something else. Can you do it faster? Yes. And how can they do it faster? Because they grab information on you, on what you like. Facebook, whatever kind of social network you use. They get information about what you bought before at them, on their partners, and so on and so forth. And because they know what you did last summer, and by the way, your neighbors as well, most probably, okie-doke, then they anticipate your behavior. And they say, well, this lady might be interested in another bag. This man should be interested in another couple of beers. I'm just, you know, caricaturesque. And what they do is, because they anticipate your behavior, they ship it already, what you might be willing to buy at a certain moment in time, they ship it already close to you so that they can deliver in no time. If you buy it, that's all benefit, because you're happy and you get it, you know, on the next day, very easily. If you don't buy it, well, they just lose the transportation cost. And they have another warehouse. Ain't it fabulous? Welcome to the brand new life. Remember the Minority Report for those who've seen that. You know, you would need a Guinness. That's about it. Let's go for another kind of big catastrophe, and I'll be short because there's this pause in between and so on and so forth, but I'll be short. High-frequency trading. Who heard about high-frequency trading? A couple of people in the room, okay? Aim of the game is to put orders, sell, buy, whatever, in such a small time that nobody is able to see that. It's microsecond. Problem is, in certain occasions, there are things that go wrong. In the second case, 2012, that's the Night Capital Group, in 45 minutes, they just went bankrupt. They made $440 million loss, while their own capital was about 330. Just because one little flag that was supposed to be reused at a certain moment in time was used by 7 machines out of 8 at a time, and the 8th machine didn't get it on. And as a result, they were constantly buying position, not looking at the price, not looking at anything else, because it was programmed that way, because the piece of code that was looking that way was not put on the machine. It took them 45 minutes to react, because they didn't get what was going on. By the way, when they more or less got what was going on, they rolled out the 7 machines, so they multiplied by 8 the problem. Because, yeah, if you did something wrong, please remove. You see? And they nearly crashed the stock exchange. And by the way, as a result, they have been bought by their biggest competitor the year later. So it's not funny. These are genius in mathematics. These are good programmers. But still there are mistakes. And it's real economy. This is, you know, my pension there. Or yours maybe. Integration. Now, integration is, I will go for that one, and then we'll do the pose. Integration is, we are offering more and more services because we're turning to be service companies and service society. And this initiative is already at run. This is a real one. If you want to send, let's say, a parcel, let's say that you want to send a teddy bear to your nephew or niece on the other side of the country. What you usually do is that you go to the shop, you buy the goods, you go to the post office, you queue again, you put it in a box, you buy the box, you put it in the box. That's not the right box, and you have to buy another one, and they put stamps, they taxes, everything, and then they send it for you. Okay? This is the past. What they invented, well, at this moment in time, this is just a trial. Okay? It's not widespread, but this is a trial. What they invented is that little button. And you just press the button, and you put it in your mailbox. And what happens is that the button triggers something in the postman car when he comes. He's got a double of your keys, because these are kind of standard keys, and he swears that he won't blah, blah, blah. So what he does is that he opens your mailbox, he takes the parcel off, so the teddy bear, you still have to buy the teddy bear. I'm sorry, they don't do it for you. And then they take care of everything. They put it in the right box, they send it, and by the way, they charge you in the end of the day because they have your details on the internet, which is connected to the button. Ain't it fabulous? What a service. You just have to pay the bill. Let's say that you have a girlfriend and you want to have a romantic dinner with her on the other side of the world. That's great. You just take an electric car, because you are known as a customer. You're driven by this wonderful Google map, whatever. And you come to another kind of mailbox that is a shared mailbox, and you have a special code that is only for you for a limited period of time. So you just stop by, leave the car, because these are shared cars. So you leave the car there, you pick up the box, and you just enter the metro. That's for the people living in Paris. Then you take the fast train. Then you go to the gates in the airport. Then you take the plane, and you go to the wonderful resort where the dinner is ready for you, and then you can offer your wedding ring or engagement ring to your beloved one. What I want to say in there is that every time you do this, you can do that with one single card or one single ID. If you buy a train ticket today, you're offered a lease car, you're offered an hotel. If you take a plane ticket, you're offered a hotel, you're offered some kind of entertainment when you arrive at your destination. and so on and so forth. You know, the nice place to see. But a plane company, or a car company, or a hotel company, or a train company, they are not the same. So they share data. And these pieces of software that are working on different technology, run by different people, programmed by different people, need to work together. This is interoperability. And I'm not quite sure that we have all the standards in the world that make sure that everyone runs fine. So these are the kind of testing that we might be missing. And due to the constraint of the agenda, I will do the break in here. Have a nice cup of coffee, and please welcome back, because otherwise you won't have the end of the story. Thank you very much.